Hi kids! Often the reason people have never heard about Jesus is because they are too hard to get to. They live in jungles or on mountains that are just too far away. And even if the missionary can get there, it's too rugged and remote to live there long enough to learn their language and culture well enough to tell them what the Bible says. That's where aviation comes in. Not only can the missionary save a week of dangerous hiking just by an hour flight direct to the tribe, but as the missionary and their kids live there, we'll bring everything they need during the years it takes to plant a thriving church. We are there to do everything we can to support and encourage the church planters in their work. And it's important that we keep working hard at this because right now we actually have a waiting list of 100 tribes that have asked us to come and send them a missionary. And they're still waiting. Now, I want to show you a video of the training we've been doing recently to prepare for this ministry overseas. As you'll see, I started out flying airplanes, but sometimes, like in Brazil, building an airstrip in the jungle or on a mountain is just impossible. And for places like that, we use helicopters.
After graduating from the Missionary Training Center, it was time to pack up and move again. The next step was to spend about a year at the New Tribes Mission Aviation's global headquarters in southeast Arizona.
I like that our house is close to the hangar and watching Daddy fly above me.
During our time here, I completed the advanced flight training to make me a proficient and capable missionary pilot ready to fly airplanes overseas. It was some pretty intense training. One major focus was landing on runways that were short and touching down in what we called the zone. You see, when flying a missionary overseas to small mountain airstrips, you must land at the very beginning of the runway so that you have enough time to stop before the jungle at the other end. These zone landings prepared me for this. We also spent time navigating through mountains and simulating passenger loads, fuel restrictions, and medical emergencies. Probably the most fun was when we practiced package drops. Sometimes you can't land at the runway and you just need to drop a package from the window. Here you can see one of my drops.
Bullseye! Bullseye!
Just don't ask me to do that again. But I want to pause here to talk about why we're doing all this. Our journey actually starts thousands of years ago in Genesis 12 when God promised Abraham that all the peoples of the earth would be blessed through one of his descendants. Of course, he was referring to Jesus, and after his resurrection, Jesus commanded us, the church, to fulfill his promise to Abraham and go and make disciples of all nations. Today, thousands of people groups are still unreached by the gospel, and many are that way because they're unreachable. Well, unreachable, that is, without aviation. And this is why I left Florida back in 2006. To become a pilot specially trained to fly missionaries into the most remote corners of the earth, and through flying that God's glory may spread. With this same goal in mind, we completed the final airplane training at NTMA.
But God wasn't done yet.
Aviation leadership asked us to consider adding on helicopter training. Their reason was that their church planters and mature tribal churches alike are without aviation support, and they would like to use our family and a helicopter to meet that urgent need. And so I started helicopter training. Turns out, flying a helicopter is nothing like flying an airplane. They said that hovering was supposed to be the hardest part, and they weren't kidding. This video was taken 5 minutes into my very first helicopter training flight as I try to hover in place.
So when Daddy flew the first time, it was not looking good. It was just crazy. It was so terrible. He did not even get it.
So there was a big learning curve for sure.
But it did work out after some good work. Now, Daddy can fly alone.
After that, we had one focus, training to get my helicopter license. I took the check ride in June, and and by God's grace and for His glory, I passed. And let me tell you, it's been a joy and privilege to fly the helicopter and see all the potential it has to serve church planting. It has become obvious that serving through a helicopter ministry can be a huge game changer for an entire region of unreached tribes. So what's next? Right now I'm building experience in flying passengers, and over the next 6 months or so I'll be finishing up some advanced helicopter training. We are also actively looking for people to join our team right now, to partner with us in the Great Commission through prayer and finances as we work together to see a thriving church for every people. Then we will move to the other side of the world and get to work learning a new language and culture so we can support tribal church planting through aviation and any other way we can. And as God leads us on this journey, we are thanking Him for how He has used you in our lives through encouragement, prayers, and financial support.
All right, that's it for today. And remember, God can use anyone who loves Him and wants to obey Him. And that includes you.